across the aisle. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Someplace Underneath. I'm Amber Nelson.
I'm Natalie Jean.
Woo woo, chugga 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 choo choo. Let's get ready on this fun train. We got a lot of topics to discuss, and we're so excited to be here.
Amber we were just discussing, she wanted to be very mature and respectable about what we're going to talk about because it's a hot topic. There's a lot of anger in the world about stuff we're covering. And I was like, that's probably a really good idea because it does help, reach across. But I'm probably still going to be a cunt.
That's okay.
Because that's just my natural space. I've been listening to a lot of this one song called Dead Men Don't Grape. It's awesome. And that's kind of where my mind is right now. So.
Oh, I love it. I've been into techno a lot, so it's hard to explain the songs because I'm just like, oh yeah, DJ 42069, his major song. It was uns, 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 but that's what I'm into.
I think it's probably very mathematical.
Right.
Techno music, right?
It feels like it itches the back of my brain. I show it to Ed Larson, he's like a big blues, old school rock and roll kind of guy, and he's just like, I can tell he hates it.
Larson and I have the exact polar opposite music taste. I love him and I respect him. Of course, there's some crosses, but every time I tell him one of my favorite bands, he's just like,
no. But then he brings up old school rock and roll, and he's like, you ever heard of Sweet Tooth by the band Doobie Brothers? The Doobie Boys, they went down to the Pensacola Mountains.
Oh, I love the Doobie Boys.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got some updates.
Yeah, actually, why don't we start with that just because I really am not excited is not the right word. I'm happy based on what we probably already knew. I think it was July of 2023, we covered a case on the show called, that was about a kid named Jay Lee. He was missing. It was a really shitty, surprisingly on our show, it was a really shitty situation. And he went missing in very suspicious circumstances, and it really pointed to a man who was having a sexual relationship with him, wanted to cover it up.
Oh, who went to Dallas and just broke orders.
Oh, maybe that's. I think you're thinking of a different one.
Sorry.
No, I don't remember if he went to Dallas. He might have. But yeah, so Jay Lee, by the way, uses he, him pronouns, but he presents femme a lot. He does a lot of drag, but his friends and family do say he uses he, him, or used he, him. So if that's confusing at all. Do you want to pop that article up real quick?
The video.
Video? Did I give you a video?
Yes.
Throw it up.
A major twist in a high-profile case. The remains of missing Ole Miss graduate Jimmy J. Lee have been found nearly 3 years after his disappearance sent shockwaves through the community. This comes just weeks after a mistrial was declared for the accused killer, who had argued that without a body, there was no case. But now, everything has changed. I'll take you through the latest developments. For Law and Crime News, I'm Kennedy Walker. He had just texted his mom happy birthday, a simple message that would end up being the last anyone heard from 20-year-old Jay Lee. Hours later, he vanished. Prosecutors argue that Jay was lured to his death by Sheldon Timothy Harrington, a man he had a sexual relationship with. But there was one major problem. Police could not find his body. Harrington denied killing Jay, and his defense team argued that without a body, how could he possibly be charged with murder? The jury was deadlocked and the judge declared a mistrial, but now the very evidence Harrington's defense claimed didn't exist has finally been uncovered. This case dates back to July 2022. Jay had recently graduated from the University of Mississippi, commonly known as Ole Miss, that spring. He was known for his active role in Oxford's LGBTQ+ community and his involvement as a local drag queen. On the morning of July 8th, police say Jay went missing, wearing only gray slippers, a silver robe, and a gold bonnet. His mother, Stephanie, said Jay had texted her earlier that morning, wishing her a happy birthday. But when she didn't hear from him later that day, she testified she knew something was wrong.
That was my birthday, and Jay would call me every year on my birthday to sing happy birthday, no matter what time it was.
Stephanie said she and her husband had gone out of town to celebrate, but as the hours passed with no word from Jay, her concern started to grow.
I just told my husband, I said, I hadn't heard from Jay. This is not normal. I said, Jay would have called, and which my husband knows already too. He said, that's strange. He ain't called. I said, yes, he had to call. I hadn't heard from the early on text. And I was just worried the whole trip down there. So we proceeded to go on down there. And we got to our destination. And I just continued to try and call Jay periodically throughout the day. And didn't get a response.
Stephanie's motherly intuition was telling her something was wrong. So she and her husband cut their vacation.
So that's the recap if you didn't listen to that series. Essentially, the lover that he had was from a prominent church family. They ran, what is it called? I have it pulled up. Abundant Life Assembly, which is a kind of church that practices really conservative religion. I'm not saying that's why he did this, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was a contributing factor that he was trying to hide being attracted to men. So he obviously the thing you should do is just kill somebody. That's definitely the way to deal with that. So he did that. And then, his family, I'm not saying they helped him. It does seem like they could have helped him based on some of the stuff. He was at his parents' house the day that he definitely did the crime. And 3 years later, they have just found Jay Lee's remains. So hunters came across his remains in the forest, which is really, of course, tragic. But we had kind of gone in knowing most likely he was no longer alive, way back when it first happened, because of the actions of the guy who goes by Timothy Harrington. But he was denying. He was getting all this help too from his family. He had attorneys and stuff like that. And then when the body was found, it now appears that he is going to be having a public defender. So it makes me wonder if, because now the evidence is out, that his family's not going to help him anymore. But yeah, it sucks so badly and so pointless. It's so pointless to have to be ashamed of something that is not shameful, and to then think that the acceptable thing to do is this, to not get your family, I don't know, to disown you or whatever, maybe. I don't know why he did it, but it's really shitty and awful. But at least Jay Lee's family now has some closure. They got to have a ceremony, and we're really glad that they were at least be able to put this chapter behind them at the very, very least.
Right. And because didn't they say without a body you can't be charged with murder?
Well, it was their argument.
So now that there is a body, now it's maybe the case could be uncovered a little bit.
Well, it's definitely, he's not getting out of jail, which is great. Timothy Harrington is currently awaiting trial in jail, no bond. So he's not getting out, and he's now going to definitely face charges. There's just no way.
Well, I'm glad the family has some closure.
Yeah, Jay Lee's family, his friends, he was obviously really loved and did absolutely nothing to deserve this.
No.
So we should probably, I don't know, stop putting these weird religious fucking overtones on everything, because it doesn't matter.
Oh, right. And we're going to get into more religious stuff at the end of the show. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Yay!
I don't even know which thing you're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be great.
It's another one of those weird Amber conspiracies, but it's on the White House page. So
I don't know if that means much anymore.
Right.
There's just whatever's on there. Do you want to start that? You want to start with the AOC?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, let's start with, okay, so I'll preface this before I go into it. So we've had a video criticizing Musk's involvement in the U.S. Treasury and how I would consider this a coup, right? We've had a lot of people push back on that.
People?
mostly guys. I will say that we are in a crisis of men who have never been told by their father that they love them. Not that I want to like blame you guys, because I get it. I don't want corruption in the White House either. I want transparency. But here's some of the things.
Well, yeah. So
you're being lied to.
Those, by the way, between the TikTok and the Instagram posts, I think there's almost 1,000 comments of not all guys being very upset that we talked poorly about Elon, but a lot of them.
It's a lot of them. And I want to say, I'm on your side. I don't want corruption in the White House, but this is very corrupt. You're being lied to. This man is gaslighting you, and he's going to take you for every penny.
He already is.
I mean, he already is. So I wrote some notes so I don't mess up. Musk said he gutted over $37 billion of useless programs from the Treasury Department, but this can be seen on the Doge tracker that he puts on his website, X. This isn't transparent. This is like when they say, oh, we've investigated our own wrongdoings and found that we're fine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing transparent about this. We don't know where this money's really coming from. And they'll say things like, oh, because FEMA gave money to house illegal immigrants in 4-star hotels. That's a lie.
Well, yeah,
that's a lie. They're lying to you. Another one is they gave condoms to Gaza. That's a lie.
Yes, it's
You're
a lie.
being lied to.
But, they've been primed for this for years now. And, I mean, working alongside Trump is the perfect combination for the two of them because people will not check. They will not check what he's saying.
They're going to go after their feelings. And he's a guy. He's a guy's guy. He's with the men, and he's not.
How is he a guy's guy?
I don't know. But it really blows my mind. This guy is fucking you over, okay? And you're taking in the ass and you're liking it. You're simping for a welfare queen.
Well, yeah, this all goes back to trying to make something a culture war that's a class war. And it's working.
It's working.
They're definitely getting you to be mad about programs that they probably themselves don't fully understand because he has employed a bunch of teenagers that are, helping people that they like, Musk and Trump don't like poor people, minorities, things like that, young mothers, the elderly. That he's saying, oh, this amount, we need to take money away from these greedy, selfish, welfare queens. When instead of looking at the people who are actually destroying the country, which is the people in government with who are making money, and that's across the all sides of the aisle.
He has it is across all sides of the aisle. I would like to come to some sort of middle ground here. Elon Musk is taking millions, if not billions of dollars from U.S. government contracts.
It's billions.
Billions. He's not just abolishing this money and then we get it back on our taxes. That's not what's going to happen. He's taking this money for himself. That's why it's a coup. So here's somebody explaining it maybe a little bit better than I can.
Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has uncovered millions of dollars in fraud.
There is a very important deadline that is happening this year. In 2017, Donald Trump and the Republican Party forced through one of the largest tax giveaways to the rich in modern American history. This was in 2017. We are talking about grotesque levels of tax cuts that they issued at that time. We're talking about, importantly, some of the most broad-based tax cuts for the rich and the 1% in this country that we have ever seen. That happened in 2017. Tax cuts had a sunset period, and that sunset period occurs in 2025. 2025. So now we're here. And the problem is that they have to pay for it. They have to pay for it. These tax cuts are to the tune, the cost of these tax cuts are to the tune of about $4 trillion. $4 trillion. And so if the US federal government is about to, if these tax cuts for the wealthiest people are going to expire this year, and if these tax cuts are going to cost $4 trillion, and how are you going to pay and square that circle? There's two ways that you do that. One is that you tax the poor and you tax the working class and you tax the middle class. You raise taxes on that, which, by the way, they are proposing. I think if you make less than $300,000 or $350-ish thousand, your taxes will be going up. And actually, the further below that number you make, the more your taxes are going to go up by. So, if you're making $28,000, they want you to be paying way more in taxes, especially proportionately, than if you're making $150,000. But they are proposing all of our taxes to go up. That's one way. But guess what? That's not going to that doesn't make up the difference. It may make up a small bit, but it doesn't make up the difference. $4 trillion, you are not going to make that by taxing people who make $28,000 a year a little bit more. Doesn't make it up. Math doesn't square. So they're going to do that, but it's not enough. The second thing that they're going to go after are massive programming cuts, or the massive programming cuts. What they're trying to do is that under the guise of waste, they are going to try to cut and gut some of the most essential federal programs that we've got. In fact, how do we know this? Because the Republican majority and their budget had a sensitive internal document that got leaked a couple of weeks ago. And I can tell you that I read through it. And they identified bit by bit everything from the mortgage interest tax deduction to, which I raised a couple of weeks ago, to Medicaid itself. They have identified as wanting to eliminate in order to pay for Elon Musk's tax breaks, Jeff Bezos' tax breaks, Mark Zuckerberg's tax breaks, and other giveaways.
So she goes on. I mean, she explains it pretty coherently, but I guess
I really like AOC, but I don't take the Democrats off the the hot seat either. They're really fucking this up, and I know they have limitations on what they can do, but a lot of the older generation of Democrats are very comfortable and they really don't give a shit, and it's really obvious. And I'm not saying that for all of them, but the people who can do something are not panicking enough. And you know how when you overdraft on your checking account, how you get a fee, which I've overdraft probably 50, 60, 70 times in my life, that the irony of like having not enough money to, accidentally pay over $5 and then they start charging you and charging you and charging you. That's what the government's doing now because they hate you. They fucking hate you.
Right.
And Elon Musk is not your friend. He's not helping the country. He doesn't give a shit about helping this country. He doesn't give a shit about tightening up the loose ends of where money's going. He wants the money. He's taking the money. And the 100+ contracts he has with the government, he is making about $8 million a day of our money, of government, our tax, the money that you make and send to the government. He takes $8 million a day for his companies. That the argument would be, well, he's like providing these things. Maybe. Who's ever going to know? Because he's overseeing the money and the way it's dispersed. So if somebody's making billions and billions and billions of dollars of our tax money, do you think they should be the ones telling you where the money's going and cutting things for poor people?
Right. It only benefits him to cut it and then take it.
Like Tesla has a contract for like Department of Security.
Yeah.
Like for Tesla has like a contract with giving their car, like they have the cars being used in like the government. That person shouldn't be the one overseeing how your money's being spent, nor he wants to look at all of your private information. He is getting these kids to be able to like peer into your fucking bank account. They literally just extracted a bunch of millions of dollars from New York. They just took it away. Like they somehow got into New York's bank account. Well, I don't know what the fuck they call it when it's like the state's money, but
right.
And they just took it. And nobody's going to stop it. It's not to help you. I know that most of you watching are preaching to the choir already, but just like you're saying, despite me not liking you as a person necessarily, if you're coming on my stuff and commenting something cruel and mean, or me thinking like, you seem like you're kind of a dick, I still don't want you to be fleeced by billionaires. I don't.
No, this isn't a Republican Democrat. This is a top down. This is a class war.
It is.
And we're being played. They're playing you. And I'm so sorry because I'm on your side. And like Natalie said, it's not like the Democrats are just perfect. Pelosi did a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean,
don't like her either.
There's no reason she should have $200 million.
No, there's no reason.
None.
This is a class war. This isn't a left-right war. We're on your side.
I sincerely don't let somebody shit into your mouth and then have you thank them for it. Because that's what's happening. Just because you don't like me or what, women or I don't know what, you'll allow this man to just drop steaming diarrhea in your mouth.
Take everything from you and then laugh at it.
Do you mind putting on that clip from when Elon was just in the White House with his human meat shield in front of him?
So at a high level, if you say what is the goal of Doge and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we would have to, if you
He's so quirky. Isn't he cute?
Gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge,
can you pop it up to like 3 minutes?
What meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where do they come from?
I can't.
And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthier.
What he's saying, you can cut it off. What he is saying with this full chest in that room, with him and that other dude sitting in that room, we're looking through these things and there's these politicians and they're getting rich and we're trying to figure out how these people are getting so rich, even though they're supposed to be making $30,000, $40,000, but they're making all these millions of dollars. While you're in the room and Trump is in the room, it's the same thing that they're trying to do that Trump did in the first election, which was the first presidency, which was, well, he's not even going to take his salary. He is so giving. He's not going to take that $200,000. Meanwhile, he's making hundreds of millions of dollars from government using his facilities, foreign politicians using his facilities. He's bringing his family in. They're getting paid jobs in the fucking government that weren't elected, much like Musk was not elected to anything. He also goes on in that same fucking statement to talk about how he's here because the U.S. is supposed to be the elected officials making the decisions, and we don't want some out-of-touch bureaucrat in here making decisions.
Which is exactly what he's doing. And you have to go through Congress or all these branches through Congress to make this decision. If you don't, that's unconstitutional. It's what they're doing. That's why it's called a coup.
So if you want to pop in the American Oversight web page, you see it? Do you have it? I think I sent it maybe in the second email. It's American Oversight. If not, you can just come over to my computer. All of my tabs. Oh, I almost just sang a Kanye song, and that was not what I meant to do. I'm trying to pop this out separate. Boop. Okay. So this is just a little bit of a discussion about how Trump was making money during office the first time around. Now, this isn't just on taxpayers' money, but some of this is in regards to taxpayer money. What it is also saying is that he was having meetings on his own properties. He was having foreign people leadership stay in his properties. He was billing basically the government for things that he would then monetize and profit from. And I think whenever you're trying to defend decisions like this, people who don't want to deal with the reality of it are going, well, that's just because he's such a smart businessman. Instead of going like, that is dismantling the entirety of what is supposed to be happening. You would, if any other president was doing that, you would be outraged.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Because he's appealing to people. He's appealing to the common man, but he's
by making them mad at poor people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again because that is one of the biggest cons that has ever been played out in our lifetime, is him convincing him and Steve Bannon and all those other dudes, convincing poor people to fucking hate other poor people so that they can continue to line their pockets for no reason. They are so addicted to money and so addicted to greed. And I know some of the people who are upset about whenever it got clipped onto Instagram when we were on from SPUN was people saying like, he's so rich, he doesn't need our money. We want really rich people in there because they're already rich. And it's so hard to say it doesn't matter how rich they are. They'll never be rich enough for themselves. They'll never. And all they want to do is take.
It is a power thing at this point. I mean, he has his government contracts. And, a fun little thing billionaires can do is if you say, they don't take a salary, that means they just don't pay taxes.
Also,
they still get paid, but not. It's
platitudes. It's also just being like, oh my God, I can't believe. Because Elon's also saying he's not taking a salary while making $8 million a fucking day through his companies of taxpayer money. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I'm listening. We do have so I do want to speak to some of these programs that are cut, that are just like, so much money is being wasted, because a lot of these scientific programs actually have real world helpful consequence benefits.
No, we're giving transgendered surgery to people in Palestine, that's what's happening.
Right. Can we play the science guy real quick?
Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has uncovered millions of dollars in fraudulent, pointless research. Wouldn't it be a shame if a tired scientist were to fact-check them? As you can see in this tweet, in 2024, the US government spent $7 million on projects studying magic. Doge hopes you don't look any further than that tweet, lest you realize that 90% of that $7 million was actually spent on a science museum for children. It was called the Magic City Discovery Center because it's in a city called Minot, North Dakota that's nicknamed Magic City. It had nothing to do with casting spells. The other 10% included an educational podcast, as well as projects for several other museums. Oops, science museum funding for children doesn't make for as good of a story as spending millions of dollars on magic. However, Elon Musk has never been one to let the facts get in the way of a compelling narrative. Doge's takes on research are so shallow you could wade through them without getting your socks wet. They probably would have called Galileo a grifter for spending time staring at the sky. What I need you to understand is that if understanding research was like doing laps in a swimming pool, these guys would be doing cannonballs headfirst into the shallow end. Well, fine, tired scientist, but what about other pointless government research, like spending $1 million to see if cocaine makes Japanese quails more sexually promiscuous, as commenters have brought up in some of my prior posts? That's got to be fraudulent and wasteful, right? Wrong. Again, if you take a look at the actual research paper, it explains how they used quail as a model for something called state-dependent learning. They were actually trying to better understand how drug use impacts high-risk sexual behavior in humans. But if you leave it at $1 million to give cocaine to quails, that sounds like the absurd science buffoons are at it again. Anytime you see someone scoring this type of win against what seems to be ridiculous research, like giving alcohol to rats, or making mice feel lonely, or like teaching pigeons to gamble or something, I guarantee you that if you were to actually read the paper or the grant proposal, you would quickly learn why it's actually relevant to human health. I could probably debunk 50 of these types of claims in a row, but I don't have time for that. In fact, I barely have time for this, as you can kind of see down here. This is the part of the video where you hit the follow button and I'll
All right. So that just goes to show. And these $1 million, it's actually not a lot. And they're usually done by, what do you call it? Grad students, these science proposals. So it's not a lot of money, and it has a lot of benefits to it.
Right. It's like trimming out comparably small amounts of money so that they can pilfer nobody, just unmolested. Just be mad about a science museum being built for children so that we can be over here. It's literally, Steve Bannon has fucking said it openly. You get them to be upset about these things over here while we're doing this shit over here. And, for example, there were people estimating, which is incorrect, I think, that, Trump going to the Super Bowl was like a $20 million taxpayer amount. Snopes is saying, it's most likely several $1 million of taxpayer money for him to have gone to the Super Bowl. Trump, the amount of golfing that he's done, supersedes most presidents. But beyond that, he's doing it at his own courses. And so he's making money while taxpayers are paying for him and the Secret Service and all these people to go there. We're paying for the jet, and we're paying for all the fucking security and all that shit. And then he gets to charge the government because he has to put people up and do all that shit. So if you were actually concerned, Musk being in that room with Trump, if he actually gave a shit, one of the biggest welfare queens ever in the history of America is Donald John Trump. There's just no denying that. How can you argue that?
Yeah. Well,
also,
I know. I'm trying to rationally, calmly explain to this how these guys are fucking us over.
This, you can take this with a grain of salt because it's an actor, celebrity saying the words. But Mark Ruffalo has been in rooms with Elon Musk, and I have not. And all of the guys in the comments who are angry have not been,
and they won't.
Did I give you that JPEG of? Yeah, you want to pop that up? So let me just.
Elon Musk wants to be his empire on Mars.
Yeah, do you want to read it? Here, I'll read it.
Thanks.
Elon Musk wants his empire on Mars. The reason he wants to shut down U.S. aid is that he wants taxpayer money to fund and build his empire there. I know this sounds insane, and it is. The one thing Elon pressed upon me when we first met him was that he was going to go to Mars and set up a civilization there. He stopped being a humanitarian and good guy when he realized there was no way to get there without cleaning out government coffers. And there was no way to do that without stopping humanitarian aid here in the U.S. and abroad. Keep your eye on the ball. When Elon slashes costs, it's for his own pocket and no one else's. It's stealing is what it is. He sees those trillions as his, not ours. He thinks he is saving humanity by going to Mars, which I debate personally on that, what he thinks he's doing. He's clearly ending humanity. He is clearly ending humanity and humanitarian aid to get there. We are Elon's stepping stone. Be aware, he's already rich off of government contracts. Now he is gaming the system. Trump has become his lapdog. Watch all the things Trump gives Elon now. Elon has seized him. I would even argue that I don't even know if he does think he's saving humanity. I think that he wants to do what he wants to do. And he's one of those dudes when, just like old Ye that we've watched play out in the last couple of weeks, they need the constant affirmation, whether it's good or bad, or there's something in here. They need constantly to be given attention, and they need to please specific people. I feel like Elon is still trying to impress 15-year-olds.
And his dad never really gave him the love. His dad was weird too. I think it comes down to a lot of dads not saying they love you to their sons.
Did his dad end up marrying his stepdaughter?
Yeah, his father married a stepdaughter. So
I think that's right. I'm not looking at I'm pretty sure that's the story, right?
Yeah. Oh, Coco Bean says, I worked in the public sector doing geospatial science, particularly environmental work, and worked for an agency that fought wildfires, and all of these agencies, USDA, DOL, ECT, and they are so spread thin already. They were holding on by a thread. What they're proposing is absolutely devastating for us environmentally. And if you want to go to a national park, go now, because they're being gutted. People went to, last time the national parks were like gutted like this, people went to Joshua Tree and rode around their ATVs and just actively destroyed these ancient trees because they thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The things that are going to be taken away are only going to affect citizens. They hate you.
They hate you.
They want you to die. Like that's, they don't care. At least, the very least, they don't care if you die. They don't care if you're suffering. They don't care as long as you just keep sucking the teat of them.
Yeah.
And they act like they're these saviors coming in and like, oh, we're outsiders. No, they're not.
I don't understand people simping for billionaires. They spend money to get away from us. Their jets, private, food delivered, childcare, like in-house, like with a nanny. They don't... They hate you. They hate me. Yeah. Why are we simping for them? Take a second and step back. I know another guy told you Elon Musk is the best, but maybe do some critical thinking for a minute and see that this guy is robbing us blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be bad. I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of years, but to just act like this is cool or like, I guess if you are just thinking you're the Joker and you want to watch the world burn, I guess you're going to get your wish. It's going to happen. Everyone's going to pay, I guess, including you.
I don't know. What do they think's going to happen? Like Elon Musk is just going to give us back the tax dollars? Federal workers are cut right before tax season. Nothing. We're getting nothing.
No.
We're getting fucked is what we're getting.
Or you fucked. We're getting fucked. And it's now been set up. We are now in a state of existence that has been made to allow billionaires to just go to town on us. Nobody's going to stop it. They're literally taking the last forms of any restrictions on that away right now. And people are still like, no, he's great.
He's Elon.
Have you seen, but his department is a meme. Isn't that funny?
No,
it's so quirky. And he brings one of his 13 children with him into the White House. It's definitely not because he's trying to get people to not shoot him. That's for sure.
Right. How many baby mamas does he have that he doesn't speak to?
Well, funny you ask. He just revealed, well, he didn't reveal. His fourth baby mama just came out saying that I believe it's his 13th child. He had another baby with a woman named Ashley St. Clair, I believe is her name.
Oh my God, that lady?
Do you know her?
No, I just seen her on X. She was very much simping for billionaires and Elon Musk.
Well, she had his baby.
She had his baby?
Yeah, she, about 5 months ago, I guess, and she did this tweet. She revealed it. She went like, don't talk about my baby. I feel like everyone's going to know, so I'm saying don't do it. Like, she basically did the thing like, don't take my picture. Which is whatever. I can think whatever I want about her, but to then just the hypocrisy, like the level of hypocrisy and the fucking gymnastics that people have to do on the conservative nuclear family traditional value side to be like, it's everybody sins. Everybody. And then he just ignores all these kids. Provably, I mean, even just the fucking kid that he just had in that video, the mother didn't know it was happening and didn't want it to happen, but that doesn't matter. He's being fun and cute. I mean, I genuinely think he's doing that because he's afraid to be shot. I do. Right. I think that kid is one of many and he doesn't really care.
Did you see the videos where the kid was telling the president to shut up and we get to do what we want? Kids don't just make that up. They hear it from adults.
But also good for that kid. Happy for him.
Happy for him. Well, it's 5:42.
But I want to keep yelling.
I want to keep screaming.
Yeah, also I should mention, so basically Milo Yiannopoulos, that old chum, he's been trashing Ashley St. Clair and Elon Musk is sort of egging him on. So not only has this happened, he's mocking her and she's saying he won't like she's trying to get a hold of him and he's just like ignoring her. So
Family values.
family values, guys. Don't worry. They'll use your son as a human shield soon too.
God, they hate women so much.
Yeah, they sure do. But you don't need to. I know that we can get real loud, but we really don't want you to die. Like, it's crazy.
We just don't want you to die. I think, fuck all this. It makes me feel really bad for Ashley St. Clair, even though I know she was like a Republican talking point for so long. But this is like, man, when you lie down with beasts, you're going to get bit. Like, these guys hate women. They hate you. They have their own self-interest together. So, yeah, you get knocked up by this evil warlord guy, and not warlord, this evil... evil fucking scum. And
don't need to
wants
split
nothing
hairs.
to do with you.
Yeah,
And then they make fun of you.
yeah, that's really rough, man.
She's raising your child.
He doesn't see half of his kids. He doesn't fucking
His
know
kids
half of them.
hate him.
But oh God, I had a point. Oh, it was right there.
Kids.
Come back.
Kids.
Come back in.
St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair. Kids.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. She is relatively she's very young, and so you could argue that point for sure. But one of the things that they were doing to make fun of her was Milo was pulling up old tweets of her saying that she was trying to get Elon to impregnate her like a year or two before they met each other. But by all accounts, it is his baby. Like, he's not denying it or anything.
I mean, aren't these like Republican family values? Like, you take care of your kids, right? And
Well-
not just impregnate a woman and then say, see ya, sucker.
Well, it's like all the Ally Beth Stuckies who are just like trying so hard to try to find how she can defend this action, you know, and she's just like, yeah, well, there's so many different, I support the mothers being the baby and babies. Babies are heaven. Good. So good is that. You know, she's just kind of trying to like trail off until somebody just gets, you know, moves on from trying to question her in any way. So it's that's where we are.
That's where we are. Well, it's going to get worse. This is probably the administration. This will be the one that comes after your guns. So let's move on to the Christian thing. So right now, there is eradicating anti-Christian bias. This is on the White House.
Sorry, I don't know.
I know. So this is on the White House page. You can look it up. I even have it here on my little phone. I can have it on there. I'm going to read to you guys a little bit of this and kind of what's behind it and what they're doing. All right. Let's pull up some of this. So this is just showing eradication of it. My administration will not tolerate anti-Christian weaponization of government or unlawful conduct targeting Christians. The law protects the freedom of Americans and groups of Americans to practice their faith in peace, and my administration will enforce the law to protect these freedoms. Let's see.
Which religions, though?
No, it just means in this atmosphere of anti-Christian government, hostility and vandalism against Christian churches and places of worship surged. The number of such acts exceeded. Let's see. Let me read this one out loud a little bit. Sorry. My administration will not tolerate anti-Christian weaponization of government or unlawful conduct targeting Christians. The law protects freedom of Americans and groups of Americans to practice their faith in peace, and my administration will enforce the law and protect these freedoms. My administration will ensure that any unlawful and improper conduct, policies, or practices that target against Christians are identified, terminated, and rectified. The Attorney General shall serve as chair of the task force. Now, let's see. The Attorney General is a nice young lady who is also bringing back the death penalty. So I don't know. I read through this bill and they even said like, oh, here was an example of a man that was wrongfully imprisoned for just practicing Christianity outside of an abortion clinic. He was blocking the way and then threatened everybody. Yeah, that's why you go to jail, not for praying in front of a clinic. You could pray wherever you want. So it's again with the lies and manipulation, and they're using this anti-Christian bias to come after all of us.
It's such, we're just not a serious country. We're just so unserious. Like they don't believe that. They're doing it again to make everybody fucking upset.
Make everybody upset. And you might say like, yeah, we're all for so the guys that are saying, here are our Christian beliefs and you got to follow it. How many like they literally just have they knocked up a girl and they won't talk to her. And she's desperately trying to reach out to the father of her baby. These are the people implementing Christian laws. They're not Christian. They're using this as a guise to honestly kill people.
Absolutely. That's not hyperbole. They absolutely are. They're going to kill people. Like, maybe they're not going to go in with like a tank yet. And run people over, but they absolutely are going to kill people.
There's going to be a Christian ICE, a Matawa, a Taliban, if you will, and they're going to go around. And if you are sort of violating any Christian conduct, meanwhile, they're deeming what is Christian because
it doesn't even like what is that? The word is lost all. It's like when you say a word over and over again, and sometimes it starts not sounding like a word anymore. It's like you're just saying the word Christian and doing anything you want. It doesn't mean anything.
It's basis in nothing.
It's nonsense.
And it's a pathway to controlling women. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, most religion is just like that. But, it's we don't have to go into that today. But yeah, no, it is. It is definitely a control method. It's definitely. I don't know, just convincing people to be tribalistic in a way that they don't have to think clearly anymore. We've talked a lot about on this season so far. We're covering the Mormon Church, which is, in a way, a weird like model for what's happening on the greater landscape right now. But the idea of the vertical morality of the top-down worship of somebody, an idol, which there's just no denying that's what they're doing to politicians like Trump. The idea that he's being put next to Jesus. I wanted so badly to find that video. I think I sent it to you. There's a content creator who had found a video from a Trump fundraiser where this woman was painting. I showed you that, right?
Yeah, she's like painting a big picture of Trump while they were like singing "Our God is a wonderful God" or whatever. So they're using one of the 10 commandments: do not put false idols above God. This is what they're doing.
Oh my God, what is that guy's name? He's great. Progressive.
Stinky Magoo.
No, he's a progressive Christian guy. Somebody knows. Somebody tell me.
It's just they're using religion to manipulate vulnerable people. You're right. Owly Snowguard. Get ready.
Wait, I gotta find it because it's insane. Like, I actually felt like I was going insane watching the video.
I'm excited to have family values dictated to me by a man who has never been faithful to any of his wives.
Yeah. Okay, New Evangelicals is the guy's name. He's great. I like to use him as a reference sometimes. He found a live stream of this fundraiser for Trump. Let me see if I can find it on my computer. Don't mind me.
Don't mind me. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns on heaven above. This is just in case they come after me.
Yeah, start memorizing the lyrics.
What do you mean by like anything that's anti-Christian? Because now that's just open for any interpretation. Like, even what are we talking about here?
They don't even know.
They don't even know.
I have to say again, I know this is cliche as fuck. But I probably know the Bible more than a lot of the people who talk about it because they don't read it. They don't follow anything that's in the Bible. I also don't agree with mostly what's in the Bible because I think a lot of it's really fucked up, but they don't even know what they're talking about.
No, I was actively told to not study the Bible because that was for boys. I just have to follow my husband. They hate you. It's just used for people in power. They hate you. Please, let's come together on this. They're trying to kill us. Please.
Oh my God. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I'm so close.
They're trying to kill us.
I'm so sad. I wish I could find that video.
Against each other. I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I know there's a lot of comments saying a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I'm on your side. I don't want corruption. I don't want Matawa coming and knocking down my door.
No. I have to describe the video because I can't find it, but this live stream is them singing "My God is an Awesome God." It is an auditorium filled with people in tuxedos, all white people, just imagine like the RNC, just like, the Republican lady face makeup, like just a room filled with it. And everyone's singing and there's like a big chorus. And then this woman has 2 paintbrushes in her hand and she's painting like this.
Into it.
And she's painting. First, it's Jesus on the cross in the foreground, and then it's over the shoulder. It's just Trump's face. She's live painting it while people are singing. People are weeping, and it's like him looking out at crucified Jesus, and it's like sunlight's coming down onto his face, and it's just. I don't know how to. I don't. My mind just short circuits when I look at it.
Because it's a cult. That's cult-like behavior. I'm Ren9300 says, I'm Lakota. I'm surprised y'all are surprised. I mean, yeah.
I don't know if I'm surprised necessarily.
I think I'm really angry, and I know that I'm like sort of trying to be calm and cool because I don't want to start screaming on air because you could clip this and be like, look at these.
I don't care. They can clip all they want.
But at the end of the day, they're fucking us over. I'm on your side. They're fucking us over. This is not the righteous man coming in that's going to help everybody. They're going to take all of our money and run. That's it. Goodbye.
That's it, folks.
That's it. And we're almost done because it's almost no dogs in space.
Oh, God.
They're going to fucking kill us and stomp on our bodies and laugh and take the money out of our pockets. I'm Amber Nelson.
Wait, no. Was there something else we were supposed to cover?
No. I think that's it for me. I didn't have a funny video. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna...
Man, if I had that video that I'm trying to find, that would have been the funny video to end on. But I didn't do a good job.
No, you did a great job, Natalie. I really appreciate you being a co-host. You're very succinct and very smart. We're going to get through this together.
Oh, thank you. You too, Amber.
It's important to, I don't know, take care of yourself.
You just have to care about people around you.
Care about people around you. Even if something doesn't affect you,
just care.
It's to care.
This is a class war. Please remember that. This is a class war. Somebody, I didn't know, Swankflow was just saying this. They've convinced people they are closer to being a billionaire than being homeless, and it's the reverse. Being a millionaire, a multimillionaire, is closer to being homeless than it is to being a billionaire.
Yeah.
By far.
By far.
It's hard to conceptualize $1 billion. It's
a lot of money.
Nobody needs it, and it doesn't matter.
No, well, guys, we love you. Thank you so much. Stick around for No Dogs in Space, though. They're going to have a little bit lighter time. They're discussing music. It's going to be all evangelical praise songs for Donald Trump. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And go on our social media and say, hey, guys, you're wrong. Our God is an awesome God. Tell those trolls they're dumb. Tell them off. All right, bye, guys. Bye.